Well, I haven't done anything on the Hendey in a while, so I decided tonight I'm going to take the other half of this broken foot off so I can clean it up and get ready to prep it for welding back together. And then I decided I'm going to take the other foot off the other side, and what that's going to do for me is that's going to make the bed a lot easier to manage, because I think I'm going to get the bed over there by the bulkhead door, and I'll put a ramp in the bulkhead, and I think I'll pull the bed outside for the purpose of cleaning and preparation before painting, only because this is such a big messy thing. I would have to lay down a whole bunch of plastic and make some sort of a makeshift trough for all of that stuff to fall into, and deal with all those fumes of the cleaners and everything. So this is just going to be something that, since it's 1st of October tomorrow, the weather is moderating, and oops, oh yeah, that bolt right there is the one that went through the hole where it broke along, so that's why that just fell down. Right there, it broke right along where the hole is. So there's the side I already cleaned up. So we'll clean this one up. I guess I'll get the, yeah, I guess I'll throw that in the parts washer to start. Alright, now I got the tricky business of getting the weight off of that pan foot down that end, so that I can take the foot off of the bed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get this dolly that I've got underneath here, if I can get this slid down near the middle towards the fulcrum or balance point of the bed, then I can maybe get the bed to take its weight off of that foot, and then I can take the foot out of there. Let's see, what I really need is something to wedge underneath this end. Not quite, almost. Not quite. Still not high enough. There we go. That's about it.
Break apart.
That last one's going to be too tight. That's what the pan foot looks like when it's not broken in two. Alright, I got this one drip drying. I was actually able to even scrape a lot of the paint off just with a putty knife. So, looks like I missed the inside here now that I look at it. Well, I decided I'm going to take off the this bracket right here on the headstock. I've got to move the headstock out of here because I've got to actually move this whole workbench out of here, because this is going to be where the Wells Index milling machine is going to be parked, and I want to get that down here soon. So, and I also got to clean up the headstock here anyways. But
want to get this chain off the air because it's kind of a pain the way this is hanging. And this chain will not come off because it actually doesn't clear this little gap right here between where this bracket comes over and comes really close to this sheave right here. So it looks to me like there's just a bolt here and a bolt here, and that this actually comes right apart. Ooh, that's tight. Break a bar. These square head bolts, I'm able to get on them with multi-point sockets. I do kind of want to make a note of whereabouts this is positioned, and looking straight on, dead on at the pulley, I think we're going to call that this arm right here is pointing at 4 o'clock. So I don't think this is critical, this right here, but, and there is actually there's a stepped diameter right here, so you can see this is actually pushed all the way up against the shoulder. So as far as how far it goes on, plus it's going to line up with this, so anyways. There's a washer on this bolt, so I'm going to make sure that stays with that. Lucky I didn't crack that. Stupid. No damage. That was lucky. Could have easily broken that ear off right there. Alright, so now with that off, I can take this chain off, which cleaning this chain is going to be a piece of cake in the parts cleaner. But otherwise it would be kind of tough because of that's an interesting chain. It's got like this tight weave to it. I've never seen a chain like this. I'm curious about how this all comes apart, but I honestly don't know if I really want to get into that can of beans. How this clutch assembly comes apart is a mystery to me. I know we got this little set screw on the very end here. I know I had taken this out and it didn't appear to do anything. And now that I've had more time to reflect on it, I actually think what this is I think this is a point, an oil point. I think you're actually supposed to take this out and put oil in here. And then I can see just it looks like I can just see the end of a thread here, which tells me that this collar must thread onto this. And there's a hole right here. You can see the pipe wrench jaw marks all over this. Somebody obviously was yanking on that thing with a pipe wrench. But I'm thinking that collar's going to come off, and that's probably going to take this sheave that moves off. This is what does the actual shifting of engaging it here. This piece moving in and out, moving these fingers in and out, doing something inside here. I don't know what. So that's free right there, and then if we put it in like that, that actually, it's a slipping clutch, so it actually is not, maybe that has to go in further before it actually starts to grab better. I don't know. All I know is that definitely is the fully released position. So let me go get my
I don't really like using these gloves. Let me go get some rubber gloves. Alright, so I've got the I've got this little dinky spanner wrench right here that actually seems to fit this pretty decent. But the problem is I've got no way of holding this. I was going to put a bar in between one of these lugs right here, but then it occurred to me I run the risk of actually snapping this, breaking this lug off of here, which would be a much bigger problem than just putting, the shaft goes all the way through here, and there's another one of these collars on this end, and it's also all chewed up with teeth marks from a pipe wrench. So since it's already chewed up already, I stuck a pipe wrench on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on this side so that I can reach over here and hold that with one hand. Get this set up first. Okay. Let's see if this will work. Alright, that wasn't unbelievably tight. So that saved my bacon as far as this goes. So let's see what we got here. We got this collar. I'm going to have to take this little, again, this little port. This little screw blocks this port. I'm going to take it off to get this screw on collar off. Okay. And then we get a large washer. That does not appear to, looks like it's got a sharp edge facing this way and a rounded over corner on this end facing out. Because if I clean it up, I might not be able to see these ghost marks that are going to indicate which way it goes on. What's that? That just lets this slide right off. This is what I was worried about breaking off, one of these. Okay. Alright, what now? That seems to be all that's going to do for me, is take that off. Oh, this is interesting. It almost looks to me like the way this works. Where is that piece? These lugs right here actually are tapered. So they start out narrow and they get wider. And what happens is, as that collar's moved in this way, because of the taper, that pushes pressure on these two pieces right here, pushing them, forcing them out, and having them act like, almost like brake shoes inside of a brake drum. And simultaneously, on the bottom, the same thing's happening. So what actually creates the braking action here is these two pieces right here being forced up against the inside of this drum. What's most interesting to me about this whole thing is that there doesn't appear to be any kind of a lining material in here. This appears to actually be metal on metal, and very dirty, so it's kind of hard to see, but I think these shoes are actually made out of some sort of a an alloy, a bronze alloy maybe. Boy, there's a lot of grease in there. Is that by design? All right, I'm gonna get my dead blow mallet and give that a tap to see whether or not that'll pop that off. Okay, what's actually happening? This sleeve right here must be. Okay, I see. This sleeve slides over the shaft, and it's keyed to the shaft. There's a keyway right here that I missed. So, if I keep doing what I'm doing,
theoretically I should be able to actually get this whole assembly right here to come off the shaft. And that is it. And now that I've gotten it moved off, it's taken some of the tension off, I can actually separate this piece from this piece. And I got to be wary that as soon as I pull this out, these shoes don't want to just fall off. Well, they're a lot bigger than I thought they would be. And they can't just fall off because there's a screw holding that one on and that one on. Okay. So, and they are not an alloy. They are just steel, solid steel by the looks of it. I thought I saw some coloration there, but that was just the oil playing tricks on me. Judging by the fact that these are removable, I'm assuming that maybe these originally were meant to be a wear item to be replaced over time. I am going to have to do some research on that because I am very interested in how this works. If this is all oily, you would think that would cause it to not want to, you know, work properly. On the other hand, if there was no oil in there, I would imagine the metal on metal would damage over time. So I don't know. That's an interesting thing to me. So now this drum, no, I don't feel any washers or anything in here. This appears to be the way it is. I'm sure this gear is probably pressed onto what this drum is attached to, but we're going to leave that together as an assembly. Clean it just the way it is. Here's my looks like a Woodruff key right here. And here I can see on this part right here, let me give you guys a close-up of that. So what we've got on this section right here, that drum unit and gear actually spins on or freewheels on, that actually has these grooves cut in it with holes in the center of the groove. So these are oil galleys. And I wonder whether or not that's where this hole at the end here that normally has that little screw plug in it. I wonder if the oil that is sent into that, if it's supposed to basically work its way out as that's running through these holes and keep this lubricated. And feeling this with my finger, it feels excellent. Feels like it's in great shape.
Now you can really see the way this is made. It's kind of weird how these screw heads stick out proud of the shoe right here. Oh, I see. When those when these dogs are pushing in here, they spread this apart. These are spring loaded. So if I want to take these off, I take that screw out, there's probably a spring in there. Interesting. Now I think the chain, I'm going to soak the chain overnight. Chain's in really nasty shape.